I'm Brenda Caldwell, aka Dr. B. Welcome to the Hope Zone, moving you from a place of hopelessness and brokenness to a place of healing and wholeness, a place where hope is alive to bring you more peace, more joy, more freedom, and more understanding of your God-given purpose. Let's enter the Hope Zone. Hey, Hope family, it's Dr. B, Brenda Caldwell, back with you for episode number 7, the Hope Zone. You have entered the Hope Zone where there is hope for every situation. I'm just so glad that you're taking the journey with me here at the Hope Zone, and I'm just excited because we got a powerful broadcast, podcast, whatever we want to call it today. Yes, we do. You know, last week we talked about divinely designed and divinely defined. I even gave you an assignment. I did. I gave you an assignment, and that was to go and take that motivational gifts test that was at gifttest.org, and that was to discover what your actual God design is. And if you did that, oh my goodness, I'm excited for you and happy for you, because that means that you have discovered how God designed you. So I'm excited for you, those of y'all who have done that. You know, I would love for you to continue to share the podcast, share, and, you know, let the people that you know and you care about receive some hope as well. Would you do that? I would appreciate it so very much. This is, again, a new journey for me, but I'm enjoying it because I am in the earth to snatch somebody out of hopelessness and put somebody on the path of purposeness. So, wow, from hopelessness to purposeness. Wow. I may need to coin that. What do you think? What do you think? Okay, as we get started today, well, today we're talking about this. The most brilliant thing you could do. The most brilliant thing that you can do. Oh, I'm looking forward to telling you what the most brilliant thing that you can do is. We're going to get to it. And as we get to that and help you to realize the most brilliant thing that you can do, I want to first start off by talking a little bit more about gifts. You know, I mentioned last week about gifts and that what a gift is. And I want to remind you, a gift is an inherent ability to fulfill a function that meets a need in the earth. And I heard it said a little bit more simple by Steve Harvey once. He talked about a gift, and he says that a gift is defined as that thing that you can do the best with the least amount of effort. I like that. The thing that you can do the best with the least amount of effort. What I want to encourage you to understand is this: you are a unique, one-of-a-kind, unrepeatable miracle of God, and you were created with gifts. We talked about you before you were ever born, you were ever, sent to the earth. God designed you and put everything in you that you would ever need to become the person that you were born to be in the earth. That's powerful to understand and to know. So you have everything in you that you would ever need. When you talk about gifts, again, we think of gifts as, running, being able to run fast, being able to play a musical instrument, and being able to sing well, and being an artist. All of those, yes, those are gifts. But there are so many other gifts, as we talked about before. You can have an amazing gift of listening. Are you the friend that people come to and just bring their problems to? That means that you probably really have a great listening ear. That's a gift. You may be missing your calling. You may be missing your calling as a therapist. You may be missing your calling, in some other way that you can, again, that people can appreciate good listeners. It's just amazing the kinds of gifts Some people are just really amazingly good with their hands and can make things with their hands. And some of you have gifts that you are sitting on that are supposed to be making you a millionaire. Come on, or a thousandaire. Gifts are amazing, and God has given all of us gifts, and that's why we don't need to minimize who we are and what we have on the inside of us that somebody else needs. That's why when we talk about a gift, we say that it's an inherent ability, not something that you inherited, but something that is inherently placed in you. It means that you were born with it. Woo, that's amazing. So think about, what is it that you do that comes to you? It's just so easy for you. It comes so natural for you. You just love doing this, and you've never really realized that it was a gift. That's why I love that motivational gifts test, because it goes over the 7 different gifts that God created every human being with, not to have all 7 gifts, but to have one of those gifts that's primary and 2 or 3 that are secondary gifts. And again, if you had not taken that motivational gifts test, you want to go and take that test so you can find out what is your God design. It's a beautiful thing. So many people want to know what is their purpose. You can't know what your purpose is until you discover what your gifts are. Are you with me? All right. So with that being said, I want you to know this, and that is when you do realize that you have gifts, and you do have gifts. Everybody has gifts, multiple gifts. But your gifts can go through some things depending on where you are in life. For example, you may get fired from a job. Well, a job can fire you, but they can't fire your gift. Come on. For some people, the best thing that ever happened was getting fired from a job. Why? Because it propelled them into their destiny. It pushed them into developing that gift that was already in them, and they launched a business, and now they're doing well. So sometimes being fired is a good thing, because sometimes we stay too long in one place when perhaps God may be trying to push you into using your gift, come on, and launching your gift and being able to live out of your gift. That's something, because again, Proverbs 18:16 says, your gift will make room for you and will bring you before great men. Just being honest, the Bible never says that your college degree will make room for you. How many people have a college degree and are not working in that field? Hello, are you with me? I remember how disappointed I was when I, first went to my undergrad. My major was communications. I went to school so that I can do this for a living. I'm Brenda Caldwell reporting back to you. Okay, that's what, yes, I was an aspiring reporter, journalist, television anchor. That was my dream. That is what I wanted to do. Why? Because I knew that I had a gift with my voice, and people always said that I spoke so well, and the best thing that I had to major in that time in college was communications, and so I just knew that I was going to work in TV. Well, I did eventually work in TV, but not at first. I'm telling you, it was hard to find a job. I didn't realize how competitive it was, how, it was hard trying to get a job in that field. And so it didn't go smoothly. It didn't work out. In fact, my dream was to work in television. Only what happened, I ended up working in telemarketing. Yes. So disheartening. College degree, and then here I am making $6.25 an hour, sitting next to people who had not even gone to school. I was devastated. I just didn't even know how in the world this happened. How did this happen? I ended up working in telemarketing, and that's the fancy way of saying phone sales. I was calling people, trying to get people to purchase long distance service. This was years ago. Everybody has it now, but there was a time that you had to pay for long distance service. And I was one of those people that would have called you and you would have probably said, I'm not interested in phone. I'm not interested in, I don't do enough long distance calls. That was so miserable for me. Oh my God. Oh my God, was so just despondent. But I will tell you, I did end up finding a job in TV eventually, and I did work for a few years in the background. Never made it to the forefront per se. I wasn't, a local TV reporter, if you will, but I did do some producing and work behind the scenes. The thing to understand is that my gift, though, was with my voice the whole time. And that gift made room. And it's amazing how it made room in the job that I hated the most, that telemarketing job that I worked at for 3 years, y'all. 3 years. Listen, seriously, 3 years. I'm talking to you. 3 years to the exact day. 3 years. I hated it. But then I had to humble myself and realize evidently God has me here for a purpose. And so I just started encouraging people, and people would be coming up to me and saying, you know what, Brenda, you're so encouraging. You're so motivational, and you're just so inspiring. I just want to let you know, today's my last day. You've motivated me so much. I'm going back to school. I'm leaving this job. I know there's better things for me. And I would be like, oh, that's so good. Wonderful. Awesome. Praise God. And then when they got out of my sight, I would be like, but God, what about me? Why do I have to stay here? And I'm encouraging everybody else. But what I did not know, that job was my training ground. That job was the seed for what I do now. Oh my God, don't despise a job that you hate, dislike, disdain, can't stand it. Don't despise it, because if you keep the right attitude and humble yourself, at some point, that job will turn out to be a training ground to develop and pull that gift out of you. I had no idea that I had the gift of motivating and the gift of inspiring. And then one day I would go back to school and end up being a therapist. And so I use my mouth encouraging every single day. Your gift will make room for you. Yes, it will. My gift has taken me all over the world, and I am so thankful to God. And that's why I pour myself out to help other people discover what their gifts are, so that you can get in line to do the thing that you were born to do. Oh my goodness, my. Your gift can go through things. Your gift, it doesn't matter. Somebody can divorce you, but they can't take your gift. Ooh, did you hear that? Somebody can decide that they don't want to be in a relationship with you anymore, but they can't take your gift. They can't take you. They can take the furniture. They can take the car. Oh my goodness. Come on now. They can run off with the accounts. They can't take your gift. You still have a gift. Why don't you say that? Say, I have a gift and I am a gift. Oh, I love that. Say this again. I have a gift and I am a gift. And I want you to say this. Somebody needs what is in me. Oh, that's good. Somebody needs what's in me. Yes, that's important for you to understand. Somebody needs what's in you. That's why you were sent to the earth to fulfill your purpose. And the only way you can do that is to discover what your gifts are. And even if a person goes to jail, you can go to prison. Somebody can get locked up and go to jail. The gift is going with them. If they are serving a 25-year sentence, the gift is going to be in there 25 years with them. Your gift makes room for you. Now, you're not trying to make room for your gift to make room for you, in prison. Come on. But people everybody has gifts, and the gift will show up even in prison. If that gift is the gift of encouragement, that's the inmate that's going to be encouraging everybody to hold on, because time is going to pass and we're going to get out of here, man. If that person has the gift of serving, that's the person that's going to be in that cafeteria cooking the food. Are you with me? Serving the other inmates. The gift will make room for you wherever you are. That's a powerful thing to realize. Your gift is just an amazing way for you to feel good about life, feel good about you, and to know that your life is mattering to somebody else. That's a wonderful thing about gift. That is the wonderful thing about a gift. Even if somebody has abused you in any way, people can mistreat us. You know I've talked about that. But even so, they can't take your gift. They can't take your gift. Being raped doesn't take your gift, doesn't take your purpose. Being molested doesn't steal your gifts, doesn't steal your purpose. Come on, doesn't steal your worth. That's powerful. That is powerful. That's a powerful thing to come into and to understand. And now I want to kind of shift a little bit. I want to talk to you about this word. The word is called Aragon. Aragon. If you're a note taker, you want to write this down. Aragon. Aragon is spelled E-R-E-G-O-N. That's the teacher in me. I'll say it again. E-R-E-G-O-N. It's a powerful word. What does the word Aragon mean? Aragon. Aragon is a Greek word, the Greek word which means work, and it means to become. It means to work, and it also means to become. To become. It means becoming. It means working to become who you were created to be. So an Aragon environment is when you are in an environment that's allowing you to be developed, to allowing you to grow, allowing your gifts to be nurtured. That job that I hated, that job was my training ground, and I had no idea that job actually was an Aragon environment for me, because I literally was the resident motivator. People would come seeking me out for a word of encouragement. My goodness, are you with me? When you're in an Aragon environment. So in your job, you want to ask yourself, is this an Aragon environment for me? Or was it just a job? I'm going to talk to you more about that next week. I'm going to break down the 4 levels of employment. 4 levels of employment. I'm going to talk about that next week. Talk about that next session. But I want to help you embrace what it means to be in that Aragon environment. What does that really mean? It means that you are in whether it's an employment situation, or whether it's in some group that you're in, some organization that you're a part of, but you're being developed. You're becoming who you were literally sent here to be. And so that's why all things can work together for your good, because you have purpose in your life. And so that's why you want to say, am I being choked where I am? Are you in a job where you feel like you're not growing, where you don't have an opportunity to really go any further? Is it just, what I've decided? I think what I want to do is go ahead and share even with you now. I think it'll be great to just share with you now about the 4 levels of employment, because it'll break it down. So the 4 levels of employment would be this. Employment, first level is what's called a job. A job. A job is a type of work that you do to just earn money. So when you have a job, you have an opportunity to go to a place, go to an organization. But the reason that you're working at is because you're simply there more so to earn money. So when you're on a job, that's why jobs kill people. Did you just hear that? Jobs can kill you. Why? Because jobs can snuff out your gift. A job can stifle your gift. In other words, if you're not in your gift and you're just in a job, that's why you will hate Sunday night, because you got to go to work Monday. That's why you're happy on Wednesday. You're humping a little bit on Wednesday. And then by Friday, you're just thanking God. Thank God. TGIF. It's Friday. Listen, it's because when we're working just in a job and we're not having our gifts being developed, then it's stifling. It's stressful. There's no true enjoyment. We're looking at the clock. Oh my goodness, what time do I get off? That's a job. That's a job. That's when you know you're just in a job level. You're at a job level. That's the second level to employment, which is called position. What's a position? A position is something that you do to gain experience. Okay, so you may leave a job so that you can apply for some position so that you can gain more knowledge, gain more insight, gain more understanding, maybe get some, a new skill. That's a position. That's a position. You may feel better about being in a position because you may be in line with what your natural gifts are, so you can feel better. That's when people, you feel like you have a good position. You can look forward to going to work. Because you feel like you are gaining something, you gaining some great experience or some good experience. That's a position. That's good. That's good. Then there's the third level, and that third level is called career. What's a career? A career is a field of study that you would choose based on your desire to pursue something that you feel that you would be really good at. It may be a nurse, attorney, someone who goes back to school to become an accountant or goes to school to become an accountant, perhaps someone who majors in marketing. So when you're going to college, generally people go to college because they want a career. And when you think about a career, you think about something that's more long-term, that you would perhaps retire from. That's a career. That's a career. And many people work careers, but the problem with careers often is that people retire. We were not born to retire. We were not born to retire. I heard the late, great Miles Monroe. Oh my goodness. If you've ever listened to Miles Monroe's teachings, he's just so incredibly insightful, teaches a lot about purpose, and I've studied lots of his material. One of the things that Miles Monroe talked about is about retiring. He says, when people retire, if you look at the word, they're tired, and then the next day they are retired, and they continue to be retired. Why? Because we are created to forever evolve. We should be moving. We should be working on something. We should all be, in a place in your life where you are always aspiring to continue to do something. As long as you are breathing, you're needed. So we really weren't born to just work a job for 30 years and then retire and sit down and watch TV for the rest of our life. That was not how God designed us. It's not. And that's why people will retire and then, unfortunately, will often pass away. I unfortunately had a neighbor that was a retired principal and retired. And right after she retired, literally, and she was early 60s when she took her retirement, and unfortunately did not do anything. And it wasn't long that she got Alzheimer's and literally passed away. And it was like, to go from running a school and being so in charge and having so many things to do to doing nothing, it can affect you. So we're not ever supposed to retire. So what's this fourth level? We got first level is job. Second level is a position. Third level is a career. Then comes level 4. What is level 4? Level 4, most people never get to it because we're not trained to think this way. But it's powerful. And that is life's work. Life's work. Level 4 of employment is your life's work. What does it mean to have your life's work? Your life's work is when you are getting up to do every day what you absolutely were born to do. A job is what you're trained to do, but your life's work is what you're born to do. Did you hear that? A job is something, a job, a position, a career, all of those can give you skills. But your life's work is what you were born with. You came here with it. Nobody even taught it to you. It's just in you. It is what you were created to do. Life's work. Your life's work doesn't necessarily even have to be in an employment setting. In fact, I talk about this, and Miles Monroe teaches this, and I adapted it. It's just a powerful concept, and that is there's a difference between employment and deployment. There's a difference between being employed and deployed. I bet you are being encouraged. Oh, I bet you are listening. Are you listening to this? Okay. I want you to rethink your life, because I'm about to talk to you about the most brilliant thing that you can do. I want you to shift your mindset and have a mindset that really can embrace knowing that you are absolutely valued to the earth. To be employed means that you work for a company, work for an organization, and someone sets your salary. Your value of what you make is based on what someone else determines, and that's how our world is, right? Our world determines our value, and we look at money in such a way that if someone makes this amount of money, then they're worth more. They're more valuable to the earth. And that is not necessarily true at all, because every last one of us need teachers. I talked about that earlier. Teachers are so incredibly important to the earth. I don't care what kind of career anyone chooses to do. You've got to go through a teacher to get there. So we know it's truthfully not based on money. But when you talk about life's work, you're talking about being able to do what you were created to do, whether that's doing it in community work. It could be doing it through your church work. It could be, again, in your employment. But when you are employed, you get up and you go somewhere, or whether you work from home or what have you, but you work somewhere where someone determines your salary. And so you're perhaps, you're working, if you will, for someone else. And that's wonderful. And that's great. And it's fine. Most of us do. We have jobs. So when we're employed, we are, again, having our salary set by somebody else. And, we do what our duties and all of that is an expectation that's placed on us. But when you are deployed, what does it mean to be deployed? To be deployed means to be sent where you're needed. It is to be sent where your gifts are actually needed. When you are deployed, in many cases of being deployed, you get to set your own salary, because if you are in business or something, or do the work that I do, if I go and speak, well, I get to deploy myself to an organization and say, this is the amount that it will take for me to come and, and speak and do this event for you or something. So when you talk about being deployed, you can still work at a company, though. Everybody's not going to own a business and work for themselves. I've worked, in the workforce many years, and then God called me out and, pushed me, if you will, to launch out so that I can be more freed up to do this work, because it's ministry for me, it's work for me, it's my life's work. To be deployed, though, is to be somewhere where your gifts are actually needed and you're making a difference. You can be deployed. You can be a nurse that's deployed somewhere, where you are deployed at a hospital, because they need your gift. They need the gift of compassion. They need your gift of serving. They need your gift. So your gifts, again, will make room for you to be deployed, to be sent where you're needed. That's very powerful to understand how your gifts will open doors up for you and put you in position to have what's called a life's work experience. Life's work, your life's work. Your life's work will remind you to keep going when you don't feel like it, When you have a life's work mentality, that's saying, you know what, I have a purpose that I must fulfill, and I know that I'm needed, and I know whether it is to work with children, whether it's working with senior citizens, whether it's working with disabled members of our community. There are so many ways in which you can have your life's work. And again, if it's not in an employment situation, it can be in community life's work. But you have to have a life's work. That means that you know that you're fulfilling a purpose in the earth, and that it's something that you have a grace to do. That's powerful life's work. Life's work. I teach different kinds of coaching, life coaching, job coaching, career coaching. God's just given me a great anointing in this area, and I love to help people prepare for job interviews. And I have a whole different perspective about what it means to even get a job and to have go through a job interview. I have been blessed to get every job that I've ever applied for in my life. Every job. Not because I'm just so wonderful and got it all going on, but I have a different perspective. A job, when you go on a job interview, it's important to understand. I tell people an interview is nothing more than a conversation between two parties to discuss the potential for a partnership. So when you have that kind of mindset, you don't have all the nervousness, you don't have all of that stress on you, because just like this company is looking at you, you're looking at them. It's a partnership. And so you want to discuss, you want to just have a conversation, and then you get to ask them some questions. They get to ask you some questions. Why? Because ultimately, you want to be in your life's work. Are you with me? That's that mindset that I want you to be able to have. And so as I, right before I prepare to close you out with what I think will be really a blessing to you, I want you to get this, what I believe is the most brilliant thing that you can do. The most brilliant thing that you could do. The most brilliant thing is this. The most brilliant thing that you could ever do is to embrace the real you, to embrace how God designed you. The most brilliant thing that you can ever do is to embrace your God design, and to be able to make your mind up that you are going to become your best friend and not your worst enemy. The most brilliant thing that you can do is to decide that there are gifts in you that the world needs. Are you hearing me? Yes, I'm talking to you. I want you to say this. I'm a brilliant person. Did you say that? Yeah, you should say that. I am a brilliant person. See, brilliance. When we think of brilliant, we think of somebody that has extremely high intelligence. Yes, the most intelligent thing that you can do is to decide to love, honor, respect, embrace, and appreciate you and who you are to the earth. If you do that, then you will be able to walk in confidence. You will not do these four things. I want to leave you with talking about what I believe are one of the most four most important words, and that is the 4 C's. If you are going to walk in the brilliance of being the best you, if you're going to be brilliant enough to love, honor, cherish, respect, thank God for how He created you. Again, when was the last time you ever said, God, thank you for making me me? God, thank you for the gifts that you placed in me. Thank you for how you designed me. Thank you. If you've never done that, do it. If you've been more criticizing yourself, stop and do that. That's a powerful thing to do. It'll shift your mindset. Oh, goodness. It'll shift how you think about who you are. It'll shift how you think about your life. It will shift how you really and truly approach life. You'll decide that you have a purpose, you have value to the earth, and that you're going to fulfill that. Well, let me close with sharing with you what I believe are the 4 C's, 4 most important C's. If you're going to be brilliant, the most brilliant thing that you can do is to, number one, don't compare. Don't compare yourself with anyone else. I talked about this, I believe it may have been my first podcast. I want to recount. I want to go back over this for somebody who didn't hear that. I want you to get this, that do not compare. You don't have to compare in our world. See, we live in a world that causes us to think and feel that we have to compare ourselves to everybody else, because what happens when you compare yourself to others, you won't measure up. If you compare yourself to your sister, you won't measure up. If you compare yourself to your friends, you won't measure up. If you compare yourself to your other coworkers, you won't measure up. Comparison kills confidence. Comparison just absolutely annihilates your sense of self-worth and self-esteem. When you compare yourself, we live in a world where social media all day long pits us against each other. You look on social media and see what somebody else is doing, and then you think, oh my goodness, I'm not doing anything. You look on social media and see somebody else has, 50,000 followers, and you got, 20 followers. Oh my goodness, I'm nothing. I'm nothing compared to them. I'm not good enough. Listen, stop comparing. Most brilliant thing that you can do is never compare yourself. Never compare your gifts with anyone else. Jealousy. Jealousy is believing that someone else has what you deserve. No. Every last one of us have gifts. We don't have to be jealous of anyone else. You don't have to, compare yourself to someone else and think, oh my God, I wish I had what they had. Envy. I wish I had what someone else has. I wish I had their gift. Oh, wow. No, that's a slap in the face. That's just disrespectful to God. It's like saying, God, why didn't you give me, my cousin's gift? They're so good at this. No, stopping and saying, thank you, God, for how you created me. I refuse to compare myself to anyone else. The next one is the second C is don't compete. Don't compete. Don't live your life competing. I know that social media causes people to compete. We're looking at other people's pages on social media. The job market causes us to feel that we have to compete. Listen, you don't have to compete with anybody for anything, because your gift will make room for you. The doors that God has for you will open up for you. The Bible says that in Isaiah 22, that the Lord opens doors that no man can close, and he closes doors that no man can open. When you are yielding your life and surrendering and trusting God with your life, you don't have to compete. You're not going to miss out on an opportunity. You're not going to not get what quote is coming to you because somebody else looks like they're doing so much better. We don't have to. I don't compete with anybody. So I want you to say, I refuse to compete. I refuse to compete. That's important. You don't want to live a life where you feel like you got to compete with your coworker. It looks like they always, they're always getting the most attention. I need to do. No, you don't have to do anything. We don't have to compete. You don't have to compete, because God has a plan for your life, and it's good. The third C, if you're going to live in your brilliance and walk out the brilliance, the most important thing that you can do, the most brilliant thing that you can do is to love, honor, cherish, and respect you. And if you're going to do that, the third C is don't compromise. Woo! Don't compromise. Never compromise who you are. Never compromise your morals, your values. Don't compromise yourself. Don't compromise by being that chameleon. Remember I talked about that chameleon complex, and that which means being like that chameleon lizard that can change colors and adapt to any environment. And with this environment, you maybe in your church community, you don't let those friends see you act in a certain way. When you get with that group of friends, you may let your guard down and do some things that you really wouldn't normally do. Or again, giving in to the peer pressure. Peer pressure doesn't stop in high school. It continues, and continues. You don't have to conform. Do not compromise Don't compromise. We live in a world now where people have alternative truth. What's alternative truth? If I don't like what the real truth is, I'll just make up my own truth. I'm going to do what I want to do. No, we have to have morals and convictions. There ought to be some things that you say, I just don't do. I will not do. I don't drop the guard. I don't, and I will not. It's just not compromise. It's living a life where you decide you're not going to compromise, even if it means that you, quote, miss out, even if it means that you're the only one. Come on. I'm telling you, the Bible says that the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth. He's looking to see himself and turn himself strong towards someone whose heart is turned toward him. In other words, God's looking for people who have the heart after him rather than compromising to fit in with the world. Come on. And the very last C, if you're going to be the most brilliant you and walk out your brilliance and shine, come on, and not shrink, and be who you were created to be and be the best that you can be. The fourth C is don't criticize. Don't criticize. Don't criticize yourself and don't criticize others. We have to be careful putting our own self down. I've talked to you about that, as well as putting anybody else down. Learn to be a person that is always edifying. You edify yourself. You're not boasting and bragging, but you certainly want to be able to treat yourself well, speak not braggadociously about yourself, but you definitely do not want to be a critic of yourself. You don't want to be the person that's always, being negative about yourself and putting yourself down. No, don't do that. And don't criticize other people. It's too many people that just get on social media and just criticize people. Why do people do that? Broken people like to break people. That's a word. Broken people like to break other people. And that's terrible. That's not God. That's not whole. That's not healthy. That's not, loving. That's not the way in which we should be living our lives. So when we talk about being the most brilliant person that you can be and doing the most brilliant thing that you can do, that is deciding to love you, honor you, cherish you, respect you, embrace you, and thank God for how he created you. You are brilliantly designed. You are beautifully made. You are created in the image of God. And on your worst day, your best day, and every day in between, I want you to understand that it's so important that you believe that you matter. You do matter. Brilliance. Most brilliant thing that we can do is choose, to embrace who we really are. And know that you don't have to compromise being the real you. You can unapologetically be the person that you were born to be. Did this bless you? Did you get a word? Did you feel that you needed this today? Listen, I would love for you to share the podcast, The Hope Zone, with somebody else. Share it with your friends. Love for you to, leave a great comment, if you will. I would love that. And so with that being said, you all see, hope is what I give and hope is why I live. So as I like to tell you, hold on to hope just like it's a piece of rope. I'm so glad you made it to the end of the podcast. If the Hope Zone is making a positive difference in your life, please subscribe to the show so you don't miss the next episode. Leave a review, and most of all, share it with your friends. And remember, from your worst day to your best day, there's hope in every situation.